Alright, boys and girls, we're going to finish up where we left off today. On example 3, where we left was we had the example y minus y1 right here and equals m and then parentheses x minus x1. And we used our coordinate right over here, negative 1, 3. So we put in y minus, and then we put in our 3 equals, our slope was negative 1 we had found. And then x minus, and our x coordinate was a negative 1, so we put in negative 1. And then when we simplified it all, it would become y minus 3 equals negative 1 parentheses, and x minus a negative became x plus 1. And if we're checking, here's my negative 3. It is the opposite of our coordinate 3. And our plus 1 is the opposite of a negative 1. So that's one of your answers. The other one we could have done was still using the equation y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. If we would have used the coordinate 1, 1, that was our other coordinate. And that would have been okay to do. We can use more than one coordinate and we're going to get more than one answer. As I told you when you're leaving, if on your homework tonight, if they give you 2 coordinates, I will give you 2 answers. On the test, if they give you 2 coordinates, we'll give you 2 possible answers. Okay, so to do this, I'm going to go ahead and still, I'm going to switch colors. I'm going to say my y minus, I'm going to leave that the same, and then I'm going to do y1. Well, y1 is 1 equals, my slope we found earlier was negative 1, x minus x1 is also a positive 1 in parentheses. And there's nothing for me to simplify. Y minus 1 equals negative 1 parentheses x minus 1. We are done. That is my second possible answer. So let's try it again. Write the equation in point slope form for the line that passes through the points. So remember I kind of mentioned today point, slope. We need those 2 things to solve our equations and to graph these and to write these equations. So first, I have points. I have negative 4, 1. Okay, that's one coordinate, and I have 6, negative 7. Good. Do I have my slope? No, they did not give it to us yet. So we do what we've been doing. I'm going to find my slope by doing y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. That's the equation to find slope between 2 points. My y2 is negative 7 minus y1 is a 1. x2 is 6 minus x1 is negative 4. That's the important part. Make sure I use my minusing a negative. Equals negative 7 minus 1 is negative 8. 6 minus negative 4 turns into just a positive. 6 plus 4 gives me 10. This can simplify if I divide by 2. Negative 4/5. That would become my slope. Alright. Now, I'm going to go ahead and for me, I'm going to draw this in between because I'm going to show you our 2 answers. To write point slope form, all I need is 1 point and 1 slope. Well, I have the slope, negative 4/5, but they gave me 2 points. Negative 4, 1, and I also have 6, negative 7. It doesn't matter, I can use either one. But I'm going to go ahead and do on this left side, negative 4, 1. Remember, our equation that we are solving, y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. I'm going to go in and put this in. So I'd say y minus y1, oops, that would be x1. y1 is 1. equals my slope is negative 4/5 x minus my x1 is negative 4. Now, like we talked in class today, can I simplify on this? Well, I'm going to look. 1, y minus 1, nothing to simplify. Negative 4/5, we're not going to distribute. We're going to leave it right now in point slope form. But I do have a x minus a negative, and we want to change that side. Instead of minusing a negative, we say plus 4. And this is one of your answers. Okay, we're going to go to this side of the equation. And this time, I'm going to do the same thing. Our equation. Keep repeating it, keep saying it till you get it well memorized. Y minus y1 equals n parentheses x minus x1. And I'm going to fill in my blanks. Y minus, and this time, like I said, we're going to use this coordinate, 6, negative 7. Y1 is negative 7 equals my slope, negative 4/5, parentheses, x minus x1 is a 6. I'm going to go back in because I saw right here I have my y minus a negative. So y plus 7 equals negative 4/5 x minus 6. And there is my other possible answer. Okay, example number 4 is a story problem, and it's a little bit tricky. So it says, you are designing a sticker to advertise your band. A company charges $225 for the first 1,000 stickers. Okay, right there, what they just did was they actually gave us a coordinate. Remember, when we graph things, our x and our y, usually x is the number that we have of an item, and this is going to be like our total cost, how many we have in all after we have a certain sale of something. So on here, I'm going to see that 1,025, that's going to end up being a coordinate.
Ryan Kempton, please come to the office. Ryan Kempton, please come to the office.
Sorry about that. And then, in the story problem, we're going to keep writing because we'll get to the end. And $80 for each additional 1,000. That is actually going to be our slope. And the reason is because that is going to be a rate. Every 1,000 after our initial cost is going to cost 80. So that gives us a slope. Write an equation that gives the total cost in dollars of stickers as the function of a number in thousands. Oh, we got something important here. In thousands of stickers ordered. Okay, so first thing I have to write an equation. Then they want me to solve for 9,000 stickers. Alright, so here's how we're going to look at this one. Because $225 are for the first 1,000, and because my answer is in thousands, I can simplify this. I don't have to write 225 and 1,000. Instead, this coordinate, my first one, my x coordinate is going to be how many thousands of tickets did I have? Well, I have one group of 1,000 stickers. Remember, right here in the blue we said in thousands. So I have one 1,000. And for one 1,000, it's $225. So that's my first coordinate point. Then we said our slope over here was 80 for every additional 1,000. So that's 80 for an additional 1,000. Well, we only have one group of 1,000. I want to reiterate, the reason we're using 1 here and in the x-coordinate is because of the part where they said in thousands. If they wouldn't have said that, we would have to use 1,000. So now I have a coordinate. I have my coordinate. Misspelled it. And I have my slope. So we can go ahead and write our equation out. I'm going to rewrite this all the time just so I can always use it as a reference and we memorize it. Y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. We go to solve this. Y minus y. 225 equals, our slope was 80, x minus x1 was 1. So we are done with the first part of the problem. Write the equation for the total cost of stickers as a function of number in thousands. So here's my first answer. This is our equation. Now, they say find the cost of 9,000 stickers. Okay? I'm going to use my equation that we just came up with to solve the problem. Y minus 225 equals 80. And I know my x. Really what I have here, this is like a second coordinate now. And if you remember, I'm not sure why my marker isn't going. If you remember how we did this up here, 225 is the cost. That was our y. Well, we don't know that. But what we do know is we have 9,000 tickets. But remember, they're telling us in thousands. So 9,000 is how many thousands? Hopefully you got it. It is 9. So there's 9 thousands and 9,000. So when I write my equation, x, which is what I meant to put, our x is 9 minus 1. And we're going to solve this equation. Y minus 225 equals 80 times 9 minus 1 is 8. Y minus 225 equals 80 times 8 is 640. I'm then going to add 225 so I can get my y all by itself. And I'd have y equals 865. And what are we asking to solve for? Find the cost of 9,000 stickers. Our answer, 9,000 stickers cost $865. Okay, last problem. If you were confused on that one, make sure you pause it, back up, relook at it. Okay, last one. The table shows the cost of visiting a working ranch for one day and night for a different number of people. Can the situation be modeled by a linear equation? So can we have a straight line? Okay. If possible, write an equation that gives the cost as the function of number of people in the group. What I'm going to go ahead and do for this one is I first need to see in this table, do I have a slope? And if I look at this, I have a way to cheat on this. I notice right away this is going up by 2. I'm constantly going up by 2. If I look at my y, it's going up by 100. Well, right away, so if that's a consistent number, it's the rate's the same, then yes, I do have a slope. We mainly have to find the slope. I'm going to use any two numbers to do so. And remember on here, this would be x, this would be y. So to solve for this, I could do 350 minus 250 all over 6 minus 4. Okay? We solve 350 minus 250 is 100. 6 minus 4 is 2. And we want to simplify. It would give us 50. So we would find that, yes, we have a slope of 50. Now, what I can go ahead and do is, these are all coordinate points. I'm going to erase this part. But really, what we have here, because number of peoples are x and the cost of dollars is y, on my graph, I really have the coordinates 4 and 250. 6 and 350. 8 and 450. And so on. We could continue on. We have coordinates. I could go ahead and graph this. I'd have my x be my number of people, my y is the total cost of dollars. And we would have a straight line. But the question's asking us, write the equation. So I'm going to go ahead and use my y equals mx plus b. And there's a couple ways I can do b. One is if I end up knowing about my slope, I can go ahead and solve with one set of coordinate points. For example, I can say y is 250 equals, we said my slope was 50, my x is 4 plus b. 50 times 4 is 200, so I have 250 equals 200 plus b, and we subtract by 200 and we would get 50 equals b. Okay, so we have, what's going on here? There we go. Sorry, my screen kind of got messed up. So we now have b equals 50. I'm going to go over here and say my b is 50. When I write my equation, I'm going to go ahead and say y equals 50x plus 50. And what is that going to stand for when it says write equation that gives the cost of the function of the number of people in the group? What is happening on this equation? Y is my cost. When I add people in, for every person in my group, it's going to cost me $50. 50 times x. X is how many people we have. Think real quick, what would the y-intercept 50 be then? Because if I graph that, my coordinate would be 0, 50. So I have no people and it costs me $50? That would mean like a business charges you $50 no matter what. So, what is this was talking about? The table show of cost of visiting a working ranch. So, to go to the ranch, they say, hey, your admission fee is $50. You have to pay that, and then every other person in your group is charged $50. So it doesn't matter if I bring 10 people, our admission fee was still $50, and then everyone else pays $50 for like supplies or whatever it is. Okay? So our equation was y equals 50x plus 50. Your homework, 5.3, page 305, 308, 2 through 12 even, 16 through 26 even, 30, 32, 34, 40.